tayo maliit na bansa at dapat palaban tayo. During the time of President Duterte, lumala pa yung problema sa West Philippine Sea. In fact, social stability is the #1 priority of the communist regime in China. Of course, we want diplomacy. But diplomacy on what terms? Because a divided Philippines is a Philippines that is easy to conquer. If you are weak, you invite aggression, you invite bullying, and you invite the theft of our national resources and the bullying ng ating mga mangingisda. And that's what we cannot allow as a self-respecting, rising middle power. Huwag natin daw i-provoke ang China. Let's not risk World War III. Yan ang parati natin narinig sa ating mga kaibigan na pagdating sa West Philippine Sea, we should be very careful. We should not poke the bear or in this case, the dragon. Dahil mahina daw tayong bansa, maliit daw tayong bansa. Ang China ay superpower. And katulad ng sinabi ng ating ex-president, Rodrigo Duterte, who's now, nasa Hague pala siya sa detention center, ang sinabi na, let's be meek, let's be humble, and in exchange, we'll have China's mercy. Well, on the surface, that sounds very, very reasonable, right? May superpower, hindi tayo superpower, so magpakabait tayo para wala tayong problema. Except, ang daming problema sa ganitong pro-China false narrative. Una-una, hindi tayo isang maliit na bansa. We're not a small power anymore. We are a legitimate mid-sized economy. We're going to be a $1 trillion economy among the 20 biggest later in this century. And pagdating sa population, we're almost as big as Mexico. I've heard many things about Mexico, many good things of course, but I've never heard anyone saying Mexico is a small country or small power. So we should stop calling the Philippines a small power. We're not. We are a middle power. We have the economic size, we have the demographics, and increasingly, lumalakas din yung ating sandatahang lakas. And as you saw doon sa ating interview with Commodore Tariela, lumalakas din talaga yung ating Philippine Coast Guard. In fact, some would argue we have the best Coast Guard in the entire region in terms of capacity, determination, and not to mention the Transparency Initiative, which is renowned all over the world as the best way for smaller countries to stand up to superpowers. And yun ang dapat natin hindi kalimutan. Hindi tayo pitsugin, hindi tayo malit na bansa, at dapat palaban tayo. Because when it comes to bullies, if you don't fight back, you get more bullied. Weakness invites more bullying. As the Romans say, if you want peace, you have to prepare for war. And as I would say, if you want to stop bullying, show strength and get their grudging respect. Pangalawa, for the sake of argument, sabihin natin na tama yung narrative na yan, na talaga you will risk conflict with China if you stand your ground. And more importantly, if you're nice to China, they'll be nicer to you. Well, malaking problema yan. Well, wag natin kalimutan na nung panahon ni President Duterte, nangako ng China ng billions and billions of dollars of investment. Ano daw? 24 billion, 8 billion, 9 billion, 12 billion, ang dami natin mga numero na narinig. Mindanao Railway, Clark, High-Speed Railway, kung ano-ano mga projects na pinangako ng mga Chinese sa atin. In the end, nasaan po sila? In fact, what we got under Duterte was not debt trap because wala naman masyadong investment nangyari. What happened was pledge trap. Daming mga empty pledges. And worse, during the time of President Duterte, lumala pa yung problema sa West Philippine Sea. If you look at it, yung militarization of the disputes, meaning yung mga fake islands na ginagawa ng China, yung mga weapon systems na dinideploy nila, yung bullying na ginagawa nila sa atin, yung mga militia na dinideploy nila sa West Philippine Sea, dumami pa sila sa panahon ni Digong. In short, weakness invites bullying. In fact, the 6 years of President Duterte is a perfect example of how not to do the West Philippine Sea fight and how not to deal with China. And yet, ganon pa rin yung naririnig natin. Let's be nice to China, let's go for diplomacy. But let me tell you this. Of course, we're all for diplomacy. Guess what? Even China is for diplomacy because China doesn't want war. War is bad for everyone. Especially for a country like China where they don't have democracy, they don't have elections, and the #1 source of legitimacy for the regime is economic growth. Kung magkaroon ng gyera, damay-damay yan. Apektado yung economy nila, maraming mawalan trabaho, next thing we know, economic instability. In fact, social stability is the #1 priority of the communist regime in China. So much so that for decades, they had an 8% economic growth target just to have a certain degree of social stability. And now that they can no longer meet that 8% growth dahil nagsishrink yung population nila, nagmamature yung economy nila, what they have created is nothing less than a Black Mirror-style surveillance state. Repression, monitoring, and a humongous domestic security agency, the MSS. So going back to this, of course we want diplomacy. But diplomacy on what terms? My argument has always been simple. Let's diplomatically deal with China but from a position of relative strength. Pero saan tayo kukuha ng lakas? Many ways. Unang-una, dapat unified tayo as a country. And a big part of unification as a country and coherence as a country is if hindi natin hayaan itong mga fake news peddlers to distort reality, to undermine our own sense of our own rights, to push for the agenda of a foreign power at the expense of Philippine national interests. Kaya mahalaga yung ginagawa ng TRICOM. Kaya mahalaga na i-call out yung mga fake news peddlers and disinformation about the West Philippine Sea. Because a divided Philippines is a Philippines that is easy to conquer. Divide and conquer is a strategy of superpowers and colonizers and empires throughout human history. We cannot afford to be divided. And part of that is to rely not on false narratives, but on truthful, factual, and patriotic narratives. At kasama dyan is yung ating karapatan, sovereign rights in the West Philippine Sea based on international law, specifically the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which, by the way, China has also ratified as a member state. But aside from having a unified and factual and patriotic understanding ng mga ating karapatan sa West Philippine Sea, we also have to leverage our existing alliances. I keep on hearing, wag tayo maging Ukraine. Medyo ewan yung argument din because let's not forget, first of all, Ukraine is not a treaty ally of the United States. It's not a member of NATO. And yet, actually, Ukraine got hundreds of billions of dollars in aid and they were able to beat the Russians right and left throughout the years, despite all the odds. But Ukraine is not really a good example or parallel for us. And of course, no one wants war. The issue here is, unlike Ukraine, we have a treaty ally, and that's the United States. Totoo yan. Between the Nixon administration all the way to the Obama administration, and I've extensively written about this, meron tayong policy of strategic ambiguity. Kung saan ang Amerika sasabihin nila na they're with us, but hindi nila na-specify kung they're exactly with us kung may nangyaring giyera sa West Philippine Sea. But that changed in 2019 when under Trump administration, particularly Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, na-clarify ng US in a public press conference na kung inatake yung ating vessels, public vessels, aircrafts, at ating mga sundalo, and Coast Guard among others, automatically mag-apply yung Mutual Defense Treaty. And guess what? Hindi lang Trump 1.0, Trump 2.0, and even Biden, lahat sila same yung position nila, that they will stand by us if there's an attack on our public vessels, aircrafts, and personnel in the West Philippine Sea. In short, the US will have to come to our rescue because otherwise, anong klase silang aliado? If they don't help the Philippines in a moment of crisis, then no one wants to be a US ally. And the moment the reliability is gone, also gone is America's global leadership and networks of alliances. But of course, dapat realistic din tayo sa United States. The Trump administration is, some would say, insulationist, a combination of isolationism, meaning America for itself, and at the same time, protectionism. So it's true na insulationist ang America, but let's not forget two things. First of all, as far as the Trump administration, even the second iteration is concerned, actually consistent yung kanilang suporta sa atin. In fact, the term I've used for that is strategic sympathy. If you have listened to the speeches of top American officials, from Elbridge Colby to J.D. Vance, to Marco Rubio, to Mike Waltz, to President Trump, they have criticized the Europeans. They have called on the Japanese to increase their defense spending to 3% of their GDP, almost twice the level, the current levels. And they have called on Taiwan to spend up to 10% of their gross domestic product on national defense to prevent a Chinese invasion. Pero may narinig ba kayo anything about Americans imposing any quota on us? No, never. Or at least, not yet. Because naintindihan nila yung limitations natin. And more importantly, impress na impress ang mga Amerikanos, especially the second Trump administration top officials, with the efforts we're making despite our limited resources. From the Balikatan exercises by the Armed Forces of the Philippines to the Philippine Coast Guard's Transparency Initiative, we are a gold standard for how smaller countries, even if they're not wealthy and capable, can do their best to stand up to bullies. And in fact, we're putting a lot of our neighbors to shame because they have more capability and resources, but they're not employing it. In short, we have shown strategic resolve and political will. And that's what the Trump administration respects. So much so that recently we had their Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and soon Marco Rubio also visiting the Philippines. And lahat sila, klarong-klaro sila. They may suspend aid to the rest of the world, but not to the Philippines. If anything, we're expected to get billions of dollars in U.S. aid in the coming years with a focus on modernizing our armed forces and defensive capabilities. If anything, baka magpadala sila ng even more sophisticated weapon systems under EDCA, including a second Typhoon missile systems, not to mention new missile systems and sophisticated weapons that will be used in Balikatan exercises this year. All of this will make the AFP a world-class military in the near future. But more importantly, other branches of the Philippine government, including the Coast Guard, are also rapidly strengthening their capabilities with the acquisition of new vessels by France, Japan, and others. And that's exactly the point. Hindi rin tayo maasa lang sa Amerika. While we're very glad that the second Trump administration is providing all of this assistance to us, including possibly also the acquisition of F-16 fighters starting next year under a $5 billion deal, we're also looking at acquisition of new systems and platforms for Coast Guard, for AFP, and other relevant agencies with other allies. With Japan, we just signed a reciprocal access agreement. Parang VFA yan. The French, the Kiwis, the Canadians, they're lining up. The Indians and Koreans have been providing us with increasingly sophisticated yet affordable weapon systems. In short, hindi nag-iisa ng Pilipinas because maraming mga bansa dyan na like-minded and more importantly, are very much respectful of what we're doing despite our limited capabilities. But as I said, as our economy grows, as our population grows, those limited capabilities could be also resolved with the help of allies but also growing investments in our own capabilities, in Coast Guard, in AFP, among others. So balikan natin yung false narrative na yan, na let's not provoke China, magkakaroon tayo ng Third World War. Well, last time I checked, actually, ang China rin ay very careful. They have their own problem with the Trump administration, which just imposed more than 100% tariff on their product. They have demographic winter. They have so many problems. Hindi lang tayong kalaban nila or karabal nila pagdating sa territorial disputes. They have issues with India. They have issues with Japan. They have issues even with Korea, not to mention the potential conflict on Taiwan. In short, guys, let's not gaslight ourselves. Let's not blame ourselves for tensions in the West Philippine Sea. Ang dahilan na may problema tayo sa West Philippine Sea is not because of us claiming the West Philippine Sea, because that's our right. It's because China is claiming what is not China's. The problem is this. Pagdating sa China, their position has always been, what is mine, what is yours, let's share, and then everything will be fine. Well, hindi tayo pwede papayag dyan. The important thing to keep in mind is this. The chances of war are actually very minimal. What is certain, almost certain, and we saw that during Duterte's time, is this. If you are weak, you invite aggression, you invite bullying, and you invite the theft of our national resources and the bullying ng ating mga mangingista. And that's what we cannot allow as a self-respecting, rising middle power. So guys, kapit lang, huwag tayong magpadala dun sa mga fake news peddler at saka mga pro-China, mga vloggers, mga ganyan. Wala, hindi totoo yung mga sinasabi nila. If you're weak, you invite aggression, but if you're strong, you get the grudging respect of China. And yes, we're for diplomacy, but from position of strength. And you can only have that position of strength if you believe in facts and if you believe in a patriotic narrative about the West Philippine Sea and if tuloy-tuloy yung ating holding of the fort dyan sa ating laban para sa ating karagatan at karapatan bilang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat for listening to another episode of Pilipinas 360 Degrees. I know maraming geopolitics, medyo stressful, medyo nakakatakot, but as I said, don't push the panic button yet. And good news, sa mga susunod na episodes, we're gonna talk about more about gut issues, economy, and more prosperity for the Philippines.